A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Let's go.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world
On Mufc Realist TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, let's get ready to rumble!
Guess
Knock,
who?
knock.
Knock,
Who's
knock. Who's there? Nuradin. Mr. Structure.
Big up, everybody.
Big up.
How are you?
Big up, Nuradin.
Really good. Well, considering it's Eid, so yeah, really
Eid
good.
Mubarak, Habibi.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I had a lot of food, seen a lot of family, chatted a lot of football. Some of them are City fans, some of them are Liverpool fans.
I didn't know they existed.
My condolences on Liverpool connections in your family.
Yeah, winding me up as usual. But I told them hopefully I used to when I was younger. I always used to have the last laugh, and hopefully we can return to those days where I will have the last laugh.
100%. Nora, what you missed, we were talking about Onana, basically. Apparently, he's the director of football is there to negotiate. You reckon he'll be signed, one of the first coming in the door?
Interesting. I saw the tweet. Was it a tweet of a boredom tweet kind of thing that David De Gea put up, and then Romano retweeted. So I'm just like, what's going on? It's the fact that the club are taking the mick out of him. Is that a boredom? Is what's going on? So it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I think we all know that we all understand that we need a modern keeper. We respect and love David De Gea, a Premier League winner at Manchester United. But yeah, it's time to move on now. You know, I love Kanchelskis. I remember I was crying when Kanchelskis left. He's one of my favorite players. I remember Mark Hughes, the reason why I support Manchester United. When he left Paul Ince, I was devastated. I was in the stadium where people were questioning Fergie. And actually, if you look back at the history, Fergie was questioning himself. Because if Paul Ince told it to me, right, like face to face, the fact that Fergie rang him while the Inter Milan agents were in his living room sorting out the last bits of the contract. And Fergie was like, I've changed my mind. And he's like, listen, we've already decided as a family, we're going to Italy. I can't back out of this. And Paul Ince did say, when he let Fergie know after he was coming back as well, he let him know that he wants to come back and he wants to come back to United. But obviously, he had a higher wages at that time because Italy was paying. Italy was like the Premier League, kids. Italy was like the Premier League. He used to pay the big bucks back in the day.
Nora, I got to ask you, because you were plastered all over yesterday's news. We saw you by the letter G. You were there at the protest.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through a little
really good. For a couple of hours, 3 hours, it was really good to be with lots of lads, lots of other people who wanted the same thing. So yeah, we shut down the megastar, both megastars. When enough people got there, we shut down both of them. And yeah, it was actually nice to talk to Simon Stone. I've met him before, but it was nice to talk to him. And Karl Anka from The Athletic. It was interesting to have exchanges with them too. And we did what we did. It wasn't about the numbers. It was about visibility. It wasn't about, obviously, a lot of people are like, oh, the sponsors. Like, listen, it was a way of letting the sponsors know as well. If these folks have any idea staying, this is what's going to happen. When we usually protest, we usually shut down. We always sing that song. You know what I mean? Shut it down or we're coming in. That's what we usually think. Shut it down or we're coming in. Close the store or we're coming in. That's what we usually sing. But it was really good to be with like-minded other United fans. And then also protesting for every United fan that can't protest. I live 12 minutes by bike. You know what I mean? It's 12 minutes for me. Straight down Stretford Road. You know what I mean? Into Chester Road, and I'm there. I'm outside Old Trafford. So it's a privilege and an honor. So all those who couldn't protest and but wanted to protest, who are all over this country and all over the world, it was a thing for them to let people know that we're visible. We're not going to stop. And the security as well, to be fair, got a day of it. One of my friends knows one of the security, and they were there till the afternoon. we shut the stores down for a couple of hours. That's what it was. But
I
yeah,
can't believe the people were coming. I mean, mostly probably tourists who go there to buy a shirt, or I don't know. But
yeah.
yeah,
And to be fair, I mean, there was a mother, like she said, he's 3 years old. It's his birthday, and she was like, he doesn't understand who the Glazers are. He's just been telling everybody, "Oh, I'm gonna get a United shirt." You know what I mean, with Bruno on the back. I'm getting a United shirt, like I'm getting a United shirt, like. And
you're getting
Bruno,
viral by locking down the megastore, apparently.
yeah.
But the
Well,
thing is, it's well coordinated. So I applaud you all, and today, well, 9058 arranged the email campaign as well to block the sponsors as well that went out after the AGM meeting as well. So it is well coordinated, better than this year has been the best protest I've ever seen. That was arranged in a couple of months, 1 month ago approximately, and this one as well. It's been more louder than ever, and we're coming to the end of the crescendo basically. So we discussed this Bloomberg article as well. There's the AGM meeting with the votes, the end of the financial fiscal year. There's been reports coming out to say the budget, what we can spend in the summer before we get sold, and that is on the 30th, available by the 30th. So now we're just talking about no BS United and transfer targets and Onana, and I think Jarvis has further points, but big up for coming in as well. Jarvis, what's next on the corner?
Yeah, I was thinking about we could talk about director of football because what's going to happen is the new owners going to keep the Fletcher and Murtaugh, or are they going to be replaced? Because you see other clubs, especially you see, for example, Newcastle with Dan Ashworth, and you have a lot of good director of footballs in the other clubs, and I don't think Fletcher and Murtaugh is the one to keep to get the club going. So who would you prefer? Do you have any candidates or thoughts about this? Maybe we go to Jay first.
I keep it short and sweet, guys, because I know everyone wants to have their say. I don't know the gentleman's name, but whomever is the director of football for Brighton, approach him, pay him whatever he wants, sign him up.
Yeah, 100%. They recruit from the grassroots.
If I'm not mistaken, Chelsea robbed the guys that was there. Chelsea robbed them.
Well, then
there was two of them.
Your knowledge on this topic is better than mine, Structure. Better than mine, then.
Yeah. So Chelsea robbed them. Chelsea robbed when Graham Potter joined Chelsea. They took one of the head of recruitment and one of the directors of football. But the owner of Brighton, it's so he's a footballing man. He loves Brighton, and I think he had other people planned in place to bring them in. And I think while the other guys were there, these guys were learning under them, and so they've just took over the mantle.
Newcastle got in Dan Ashworth, wasn't it?
Yeah. Dan Ashworth went to Newcastle, but two of the guys who were the head recruiters for Brighton, they both went to Chelsea. And I don't know if you ever saw in one game where Chelsea were getting smashed, the camera kept panning to them when they were Stamford Bridge. The two guys had just sat there like that, and Bowley's just brushing his hair or whatever he was doing. So there's two recruitment guys. The biggest misconception people I think make is just that one director of football. No, it's usually a team.
It's a
full team of different kind of specialists. So the way modern way, the way Brentford went through the leagues is by doing data analytics. Data analytics is massive. Liverpool had a lot of their success through data analytics, and the data analytics is so crazy. It tells you when a fullback or say a right back, how many times he makes passes into the last third, how comfortable he is in the ball in possession. It's crazy. But the best combinations is to use eye test, obviously, to watch the player, to check out the type of character they are, and then to also use the analytics as well. And one of the best things about analytics tells you as well is that how player is injury prone and the type of injuries player gets, and you know what players to stay away from.
But guys, I think it's quite ironic. Okay, we've had our owners for the last 18 years that own American football team. American football is so heavy stats related. When they're recruiting a player from college, say you get your first, second, third, fourth round draft pick, and they're off trading their draft pick this year for next year. I won't go into details, but it's all based on analytics. So to be owned by American owners that understand how the Buccaneers have traded players over the last 10 years, won a Super Bowl last year, 2 years ago with Tom Brady, and not to actually use that knowledge that's been proven to be used in the biggest sport in America. That's absolutely whimsical to me.
Yeah. You know what? I have a point there, you know, what you're saying as well. Regarding it is a team, what Nuradin is saying as well. So somebody was saying here, like, and I'm going to put up the tweet as well, not Overmars. Basically, yeah, we already have tenhag. And if you saw what was successful for Ajax, it's a team. Like, you know, you had Overmars as a sporting director, backed up by his commercial CEO, Van der Sar. And then you had, you know, Erik ten Hag as a coach as well. So that is a sort of a Bermuda Triangle, what you're saying, right? It's so important to have the right personnel that understands the philosophy, like how you want to play, who you want to recruit, what is the vision of the strategy. So it's so important to get it right. You know, people saying Paul Mitchell, you know, a lot of players, Edwards as well. But I still think that, you know, recruit somebody that knows Erik ten Hag. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I know that Overmars has some dodgy stuff, but there was a successful partnership. And what they used to do as well, they used to go hunt in the grassroots leagues, like what Brighton is doing. You know, they used to go and buy these Lisandro Martinez for 7 million, you know, Antonio Dos Santos and all those players from the South American League, right? And look what they're selling now. Let's talk about Casado, right? How much did they bought in Casado for Brighton? I think it was £7 million. Look what it's worth now. Yeah. And now they want 80 million in a way.
And actually, Mick, on that Casado, I think was that back in 2021, 22, with the January transfer window. Casado was going for 5 million when he was playing for in Ecuador, and we dropped the ball and didn't sign him back then. 5 million.
Yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted it, but actually Antonio Valencia got in touch, and that's where you hear the quote from Casado where he says, "Yeah, I'm a United fan. I really want to play," because he was watching Antonio Valencia. Antonio Valencia is one of his heroes. Yeah, and Antonio Valencia apparently got in touch with the club and saying, yes, this is the guy. I remember at that time watching I think it was a Sky clip where Tim Figgery was on, and they were asking Tim Figgery about Casado, and he was like, he would suit English football. Tim Figgery, those of you who don't know, is a Latin American football expert. He's an English guy, Spurs fan, and he lives in Rio de Janeiro. He does a lot of stuff in Brazilian television or Latin American television. Just going back to what you were saying about the point that you were making. I don't know what point you Mick. What did you just say before? What were you talking about?
I was saying that it's so important that you work in a team and to point the one that knows Erik ten Hag's vision and sporting project and the whole lot. And you know, director of football is there to hunt. You have the analytics to understand the playing style of, you know, and stuff like that. And then you have the CEO that makes the commercial deals. Yeah,
no, 100%. And actually, not many people know that, but Erik ten Hag was a director of football at once. He was actually, I think, for a year or two, was acting as a director of football. So he knows, like, the aspect of what it would mean to be a director of football. But the most strangest thing about Ajax, actually, they have one of the weirdest kind of thing. They have a specific board that looks at transfers. So their board can veto. There are, I think, I forgot his name. I think that it might have been an Argentinian player. He went from Sevilla to Ajax. Everything was done. He actually went there, flew there. And then guess what happened? The Ajax board vetoed everything and said, we're spending this amount of money on the player that age. They are really strict with the age. So whether it's Ten Hag, whether it's Edwin van der Sar, whether it's Overmars, they had to still content with very stubborn board that don't believe in signing players above 26 or 25. They do not believe in signing, especially the money they're spending. If anybody's like near 28, 27, they don't want to sign them. And they veto it. So the manager can want him, the director of football can want him, the CEO can want him. They veto it. And Ajax are a very, very interesting club to do that, honestly. It's fascinating.
Nuradin, guys, I have a proposal. Like the video room also saying, like the whole panel should apply for the job as a sporting director and analysts and coaching staff for Manchester United. What do you reckon? I'm up for it. I'm game. But I'm going to end the Tate. Like mate, what's your thoughts and feelings? Like in terms of moving forward, in terms of who should be the next sporting director. Do you agree what the panel is saying here?
I do. I think we have to cut ties with connections. I mean, Darren Fletcher, he's not doing a good job. No. He's not doing a good job. And he's bringing his 2 lads over from City as well. So, he wants to keep it family, all connected and family-wise. So maybe, look, you've done that. He's done that off his own back, basically, to get his boys into Man United. Maybe they may be good in the future. They may be good, but that is, like you say, it's for himself. He's looking after his family. But I think, new ideas, fresh minds. I won't mind Van der Sar. I said this on the agenda. Don't tell me ex-players have not been approached in the last few months behind closed doors. Like you say, Rio knew something when he was at the train station and was about to get on Thomas the Tank Engine for London. So he knew something. So Gary Neville, he may know something. He's going on Dragon's Den. That won't last long if Qatar comes sniffing in. So you don't know. He
went on the gravy train, didn't he?
He's on the gravy train. He's on the gravy train. That might have been a cryptic message. When he was at the train station, Rio, that was a cryptic message. I'm getting on the gravy train, people. But you know what I mean? He did that tweet. He did that video, and the train was behind him. Final boarding, you know what I mean? That's an encrypted
all
video.
Aboard, yeah.
All aboard for Qatar, everybody. So you don't know.
I'm just a little bit cryptic of time because I don't want to everyone's got to get up early in the morning. Jay's going to go early. You got to work, everyone. So I got to want to round up with the midfielder question because that leads into Moises Caicedo, and another thing is Frankie de Jong. That's never seems to disappear because it was mentioned yesterday. It's been mentioned 2 days in a row, and I think that's going to be brewed up as well. But regarding Moises Caicedo, I'm reading one football app that that I said it before, we are playing hardball with Chelsea at the moment because Chelsea wants to offload as much money as they can for a Mason Mount, right? So they're playing hardball, right? But at the end of the day, we put the money down and we say, no, 50 plus 5 add-ons, 55, not a penny less. Erik ten Hag said, no, we're not going to oversign. And now you're seeing they want to meet face-to-face to discuss. Of course, they need to offload him so they can go for Caicedo. In the meantime, we said, nah, screw you guys. We're going after your target as well, which is Caicedo, right? Guys, I'm going to stick to you, Andy. If you had a choice, right, between Frankie de Jong and getting a Caicedo, who would you pick?
Frankie de Jong all the way. Frankie de Jong all the way, but a player who doesn't want to come, who will only be forced out. He's very happy in Barcelona. He's happily married now. He's won the Liga last year, but they've brought the City lad. He's come in on a 4-year deal. They have to free some wages up. So I don't know. Caicedo, like you say, Jay said, we could have got him a couple of years ago for £5 million. It's just incompetence. It's like, who'd you go? Mr. Bean does the negotiation. Did you get him? That's what Man United's transfer strategy is. Mr. Bean. That's it.
Yeah. People saying Caicedo. Yeah. I mean, I go to Nuradin because Nuradin, you like me, we keep saying if we miss out signing Caicedo, that is like missing out, on a N'Golo Kante when he was available. And look what a play he became. You're on mute, by the way, brother.
Yeah, for me, it'd be absolute travesty. I rate this kid. In the last 3 months of the season, I watched Brighton because they play the best football in the league. Before that, Arsenal were playing really good football. City played in part some good football. But the best team in the league that I don't have anything against, that I'm a neutral at, and I was loving watching them, was Brighton. And yeah, you can say, it's the system of the Zebri that put in place that's making all these players look amazing. Yeah, there's a part to that. But for me,
but he played half a season right under.
Yeah. So Caicedo, for me, they don't make Europe, and that's why they rejected the bid from Arsenal, 70 million in January, because they don't make Europe without Caicedo. It's like, to me, he's like a throwback to Roy Keane, and I know that's a lot of lofty words on Paul Ince, all action, wanting it, absolute the physicality, the sense of gravity, the strength, cannot be moved off the ball. And not even that, he's passing, his accuracy, passing into the last third is brilliant. It's so underrated. He's literally cutting out the passing lanes and getting balls on the floor, punching the ball into forwards. It's brilliant. Obviously, also McAllister had a bit to do with that, because the combination play that they had was amazing. For me, it'll be a travesty. It'd be a really travesty. Like,
but how about if we then surprise everyone and get Caicedo and Frankie?
Yeah, I mean, that's
that'd
what
be
I'm
madness.
saying. Why can't Manchester United do both? Why can't Manchester United do both? Listen, to me, the best carrier of a football midfield player is Frankie de Jong. 100%. He's absolutely incredible. In terms of being press resistant, he's absolutely incredible.
Right.
But like Andy said, getting a player who doesn't really fancy and doesn't want to come to Manchester United.
Okay, I'm
always like, regardless how shit we are, if we're in a championship, a player should be excited about Manchester United.
I don't know, man. I think I have a sort of sneaky feeling we're in for a surprise this summer, and I'm gonna go to you, Jay Daly. Is what do you think, in terms of Caicedo or having a Frankie de Jong, or would you have them both? What's your preference, sir?
Look, we're not playing FIFA here, so we're not going to get them both.
Fantasy football.
Look at the fact. Last season, we spent all last summer flirting with Barcelona. It was never going to happen. I said from the start it wasn't going to happen. He's in his 20s. He's living in Barcelona, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Do you think he's going to come to Manchester and play his heart and soul out on a pissy wet Wednesday night in January? He's not. It's not for him. I think he'll come. He played for us. He'd be a fair weather player. He'll turn it on when he feels like it. And I take your point. He's press resistant. He's great in the ball. Silky skilled. But I think if we got him, he doesn't want to be here. He could become a Paul Pogba 2.0. That would be my fear. Now, unbelievably talented guy, but I would question his mentality, and also his partner clearly loves the lifestyle in Barcelona.
Who wouldn't?
So she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to move. So she doesn't want to move, and he decides, listen, love, we're going. That's it. We're going. Think about it. Pissy wet January, February, Manchester. He's coming home. She's moaning in his ear every single day. Is his head going to be in the right place come Saturday to turn it on in a away game against Burnley?
True.
So
I mean,
on that, I look at the mentality of the player and their motivation and their influences. I take a Caicedo every day of the week.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. But that proves the fact as well, because what people were saying about Harry Kane, to say, no, he's a London boy, he's a family guy, doesn't want to move. And now you're seeing, people actually, Bayern Munich put in a bid for 70 million that's been rejected. So you wouldn't put in a bid if you didn't speak to, his family and everything else. So that's just a fallacy in a way. At the end of the day, money talks, right? So per my understanding, Barcelona, they pulled their last financial levers. They are in a big financial shit at the moment. They need to offload a lot of players. And bear and behold, I think they're going to force him out at the end of the day, because they paid, they were owing him about 18 million euros, right, in deferred wages. So half of that is being paid off. And if you get a Qatari ownership, they're probably going to go in and gift Erik ten Hag something to say, hey, like they did with Neymar at PSG, like in Barcelona, they bought him out his contract, but they went to La Liga, they went to FIFA, they sorted it out, they applied an application, and they bought him out his contract. Same thing can be done for Frankie de Jong. So I wouldn't sleep on that. At the end of the day, we know Erik ten Hag's obsession. He built the whole transfer plan last year regarding Frankie de Jong, and he had to divert at the end of the day to Casemiro, right? So I don't know. I think he's very stubborn. He's very obsessed. And I'm sure he's got that in his mind, unless he's changed his tactics. But for me, Casemiro, Yes, together with the Casado. Wow. And if you bring in a ball carrier, the best ball carrier is 100% Frankie de Jong. I don't know. What do you think, Jarvis, as well?
Yeah, when it comes to if I could choose between Frankie and Caicedo, I would choose Frankie de Jong, because I think he will suit our style of play. The thing with Caicedo, everybody talks so highly about him right now, and like he's the new shiny toy, and everybody loves him. But
Yeah.
we got to give him some time. He's young. He has played like one good season in the Premier League. Why do we want to choose him over a seasonal pro who has performed in Champions League year after year and plays at Barcelona? So I would choose Frankie de Jong if it was up to me.
Yeah, but we don't know what Erik ten Hag has his plan. What he has, he's probably hiding his ace of spade, somewhere. But I'm going to go back to Nuradin as well. Like Nura, like it's a point. What Jarvis is saying, that this guy only played like a half a season in the Premier League, something like that. And at the end of the day, if you look at who the manager is and who actually brought up Frankie de Jong, do you think he's really worth that money? What Brighton is asking for? Because barring that they bought him in for cheap, no, it's overpriced.
No, he's not. Well, obviously, it's ridiculous, isn't it? When Declan Rice is going for 100 million, like it's ridiculous. It's like it's so ridiculous. And blame Chelsea for that, for buying a holding midfield playmaker in Enzo Fernandez, who's a fantastic player, by the way. Another guy Ralph Ranić talked about. Ralph Ranić wanted him. There's another player that he put. It was him and Jarvis, who plays for City now. Those two players he mentioned, and he was like, Manchester United should move, but they never listened to him. Again, Shambles FC. Mr. Bean. I actually think Mr. Bean do a better job. I actually trust Mr. Bean more than I.
Sorry, I missed the super chat earlier. Like free, I have to apologize. Sorry. This is for Premier League ITK. Thank you for the donation. Today I feel Qatari. Sorry for missing that. I was totally lost, so my apologies. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, listen, for me, Caicedo, the reason why I'm buzzing about him, because he's 21 years old and he's that good already. This kid has got a ceiling to be. I think, when the older he gets, with good coaching, he's going to be a really good number 8. So people are thinking him and Casemiro sitting. No, he's got the ability to play as a number 8. He's got the ability and the lungs and legs to get up and down that pitch. That's the difference in terms of. And I look at last season when we got battered. We got battered by the top 10 teams in the league. We got battered because we even with Casemiro in the team, we didn't have the legs to get about with him. We didn't, and that to me tells me that's where we are. If you're telling me Casemiro, Bruno, and Caicedo going to Anfield, I think we're going to give it.
What's the reason for Mason Mount? What do you think Erik ten Hag sees? Is it more of attacking, like off the ball? I mean,
tactical thing. I've done a scouting report on him. It's basically. I don't really watch him. I'm not a Chelsea fan. I don't do watch-alongs. I watched the odd Chelsea game here and there. Obviously, when Tuchel was there, he was quite decent. And he's been one of the most talented young Chelsea players. I just used to see that guy missing chances, but then I used to get confused to say, which one now is missing chances? That's what Chelsea attack used to be. When I saw him, he played more of an attacking midfielder. He played more on the left-hand side. But after doing my research on him, the reason why coaches like him is off the ball. He's very good at tactically following instructions. He's very good at cutting down the passing lanes. He's very good at being the trigger for the press in certain pressing zones. That is one of his abilities. But I do not want to buy a player just off the ball business. I want you to give me quality on the ball. And the idea that he is worth 60 million when he's got 1 year left on his contract, where he's had 2 abysmal seasons.
Yeah. Edward Reed is agreeing. Mount is high energy off the ball player that can also pass pretty well as well. That's pretty much why he's looking at him as well. But I saw something that Dan Smith was saying in a way that, De Jong doesn't want to come to Manchester United, wake up. That's more paper talk as well. But of course, you got to have to come out and say that in paper, because you're under contract by Barcelona. And during the employment contract, you're not allowed to say anything else. Why would you go and say, I want to come? You know what I mean? we wouldn't have spent all last summer if he wasn't willing to come. At the end of the day, does that make sense? I'm just talking from an intermediate perspective.
Yeah, Murta and twice, weren't they? They're basically like they were having a good time having meals in Barcelona, getting pictured everywhere, weren't they? So
but they had an agreement. They had an agreement with agency. They had an agreement with the club. They were agreeing the price. You know, you wouldn't speak to the player if the player didn't want to come. At the end of the day, what it came down to is like you, as an agent, you would advise, as a legal advisor, you would advise the player, don't leave.
But they got played. But they got played, Mick. They got played, and they got shown for the fools that they are. Because Barcelona was pulling lever after lever, knowing that we can't sign this player because he was never going to walk away from 17 million. And they were never going to give us that, like, lessen the price so that we could give him that 17. Actually, it's against the law for that to happen, apparently.
100%.
We could not have given him that 17 million. And
yeah, but imagine now if you delist yourself at New York Stock Exchange and you become a private hold company, you can do that. You can go in and buy off the contract. Like Barcelona is not listed on the stock exchange. Now, if Sheikh Yassim comes in and 92 Holdings, what they can do is to say, look, you know, we buy out the contract. We pay you off that deferred wages. So I wouldn't sleep on that.
No, anyway. But this is it. As we speak right now, they got played. The Murta, for me, and Arnold showed themselves for what they are. And even Murta flying to Turin was even more embarrassing.
Oh, like, yeah, Andy.
You could have done it over the Zoom.
Andy, Murta got played by Veronique Rabiot again.
Yeah, he got played by a MILF, didn't he? Wine and dined in Surrey. He got played by a MILF, you know what I mean? He tried to do Stifler's mum, basically, and he got played and he got shown up twice in the space of 12 months. Oh, my God. Stifler's mum. Sorry, man. Didn't work out.
Andy, let's be fair, Andy. Who hasn't been played by MILF? Let's be fair.
Mummy knows best.
How many likes do we have at the moment? Do we have 70 likes? Can we get 100 likes, please? Because we got to go. We got to close the shop soon. People got to go to work. People, I've been busy today. It's been this is the released 3 streams today. This is the 4th today. It's been busy. And tomorrow morning, I'm doing a transfer podcast with Talk Sports and Anil Kandola as well.
Oh, Talk Sport! Oh man!
Yeah, Anil, he's a Manchester United fan. He's a brilliant guy. Anil Kandola. You should watch him. He's a really good guy, right? Yes. So it's fair enough. And I would just like to round up with the round of applause for everyone. Nuradin, thank you for coming in. Eid Mubarak, sir, as well. Jarvis, Cocker, what's behind your window? We all know.
Sun is shining.
Yeah. We could have gone for hours and hours and hours, but at the end of the day, like, who's going to watch 2 hours of video? Last time we did, people actually did. We have over 5,000 views, so all good. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're here to call it for no bullshit. So, like this kid.
What? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit.
100%, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for the whole VR room. You've been amazing. Sorry for the missed super chat, but we caught up to you. Books is in the house, directing me, RJ, Angie, Jonathan Ball, everyone in the regulars, the moderators, Tanky, Jolly Marlin. Jolly probably made another pizza. Milos Mitic from Serbia, Almac. So we can read everyone's, tweets. Not tweets. I keep saying tweets because I'm so used to Twitter, right? So chats, you know what I mean? But I don't know, guys. Anything else that you have on your mind, guys? Like, you know, Andy, Jay, I hope you enjoyed your time. This was the second time in the ring. We had the referee coming in as Mr. Sturcture.
Oh yeah,
Put the structure to the stream.
Was it back in? Was it 20 years ago? If you remember, Celebrity Deathmatch. Along them lines, like me and Jay, like ready to go, no bullshit United, and Nuradin coming as the referee. So yeah. Celebrity Deathmatch will be back next Wednesday. Oh, no bullshit United, AKA.
Yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah, next Wednesday. I've spoken to Alice. Alice. You know, Alice talks football, right? So she might be coming on as well. So yeah, So that's going to be a super panel as well. So Jay, I hope to see you also next week.
Pleasure, guys. Good night.
Rematch,
See you all soon.
third round. Enjoy your night, Jay. Sleep tight and don't let the media journals bite you. You know what I mean.
I know. Good night.
Slunge. Cheers. Funny story. Guys, been an amazing stream. Thank you so much for coming on. Peace, love, peace, Pete, and bananas. See you tomorrow, Mr. Structure. Send us the invite. We come up and gas up your show as well. Andy Tate, enjoy your night shift tomorrow. Jarvis, say hello to Norway and your family. Peace and signing up. Bye for now. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.